I am going to do the Let's Be Real segment a little differently. Today is September the 26th of 2016, and recently Isaiah Washington, which is a wonderful black actor, basically put out the call for a day of shutting it down. Basically, what we're trying to do is show the world that we are a force to be reckoned with, and that our lives do matter as Black people. Black people and Black lives matter. Black situations, Black circumstance matters, and I fully support the movement. Basically, we are to not show up to work, not feed the machine for a day. I don't know everyone's specific or singular situation, but today is a day around the world for Black people and people of color to basically keep our money in our pockets. This is an extremely important and real situation, considering the fact that we are being targeted and killed on the streets. I was watching an article that had a video link attached to it, and they were basically saying how and showing how white people and other people and other races have an automatic bias to Black people, and that people of color or Black people who were holding non-threatening objects such as a can of soda, a cell phone, things of that nature, were increasingly being shot accidentally shot or whatever, because they generally are saying that our color is the first thing that's being seen, and then the object that we're holding is being taken into consideration. So a lot of people, white people, and other races were just killing Blacks, just based purely off of the face, purely off of the color of her skin. And to me, that's a problem. We have to make ourselves visible, and we have to solidify as far as how we deal with each other as Black people and as a Black community. It's been said over and over again by many people that I have noticed and have been following on different social media outlets. One specifically is Javon Clark. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Very intelligent brother, very fact-forward brother, very uncut brother, which I appreciate that in him. Is basically letting it be known that our dollars matter. They see the blackness of our skin and are very intimidated by that. My thing is this: how can you not accept me because of my color, but you can accept my green money, and you can capitalize off of the different parts and portions of our traditions, of our culture that you find trendy, or that you find to be profitable to you, remix it, turn it around and flip it, and then leave us hanging. I say that we begin to, like I said, solidify and come together as a people to support each other's business ventures and things of that nature, to show that we actually do have each other's backs. And I feel like that's one of the things that other races kind of have a one-up on Black people for, and there's been many different debates and articles and pieces of information that support the fact that when we were carried over here against our wills as slaves, there was a lot of different doctrines and ways of life that we had to become accustomed to. But now that we are in an age and in a day of so much information being accessible, there's no excuse for staying in the same mind frame, staying in the same mold. We have to kick ourselves out of that crap in a bucket mentality. It starts here first. If you can control the head, you can control the body. If you can control the mind, the body will fall. So basically, I'm saying this: We have to literally, as Black people, get off of that mentality and that thinking of, if this person makes it, then that negates who you are or your talent or your ability to come up. We have to begin to keep money in our own communities. Like I said, I look for different Black own businesses. In order to put dollars into our community, we have to take care of our own, essentially. Not saying that, oh, we just hate white people. And that's another thing that kind of bothers me about society. Instantly, when we begin to support Black issues or Black people or the Black community, that's seen as a terrorist ploy or a terrorist move by the white government, white society. And I'm going to tell you why. If I personally, let me give you guys an illustration. Let's say that I have a pit bull puppy, and the entire time that I have this pit bull puppy, I am evil to it. Sometimes I deny it proper nourishment. I beat it. I totally downgrade um, and just put this dog down. You stupid dog, you bad dumb dog, you're nothing, you're never amount to anything. And I make it extremely difficult for this dog to carry out daily activities and daily life, things that are necessary for this dog to survive properly and thrive in everyday life. At some point, that dog is going to turn. And that's what white people look at us as. They look at us as like one of the dogs in a Pavlov experience. Or experiments, excuse me. If you want to know more about Pavlov and his experiments, please look that up on Google, do your Googles. But I can give you a little bit of it. Pavlov was this scientist, and one of his experiments was on, I guess, nurture versus nature. And he had these dogs in these cages, and every time he would open the cage and the dog would try to come out to get food or water, they would give it negative reinforcement. They would punish the dog in some form to subject the dog to some kind of physical pain or something of that nature. So over time, the dogs began to become conformed to the cage. They Even if there was no one around and the gate was open, they would still stay in their cage. They wouldn't come out to get even basic needs. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like white people, and not all white people, because there are some white people that are very, very down, have been back in history and even now, so don't get me wrong and think that by us saying Black Lives Matter that we're saying only Black Lives Matter. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you can say Blue Lives Matter, if you can say all lives matter, what is so wrong with just simply saying and believing and manifesting that Black lives matter? What is wrong with that? I do not understand, nor do I see the real problem with that. There's no way in a person standing up for themselves and saying, hey, my life matters. Stop killing us. Stop shooting us down dead in a damn street. Why is that a problem? Why would that be an issue? Why does that pose a threat? And I'll tell you why. Because like I said before, there has been a conditioning, there has been a systematic training, if you will, of the Black mind and the Black psyche to feel inferior, to feel less than, to feel basically as if our lives do not matter, as if our lives are not as valuable as our white counterparts. And to me, that is more of a terrorist or terroristic way of doctrine and living than anything. So basically, there's a fear there for white people. There's a fear of the awakening. There's a fear of an uprising. They're thinking that, oh, we've done some of the most terrible and despicable things to these people. Why have they not taken up arms and killed our asses yet? Please believe that that is something that sits in the back of their minds. So that's where I find issue and fault with white America, because obviously we just want the right to live, to thrive. We want to be able to have the same things that you guys get afforded to you to be afforded to us. We are not asking for handouts. We're actually asking for things that we should have as a natural God-given right, as we are born as human beings, just as you are. We have just as much intelligence, if not exceeded intelligence. I mean, let's just look at things from from this. Just look at the historical content. I mean, the slaves basically built the roads. They set up different structures, all the way down to how people take care of themselves, hygiene. I mean, there are so many different things. Mathematics, those different systems that we were able to provide and to put into play should be respected. But instead, what happens is a lot of our culture is appropriated, and then firstly, what happens is, this is the sequence. First, they downplay it, they humiliate us because of the different things that we do, and then it's intimidated, then it's imitated, excuse me. And that I find a huge problem with as well. I'm not just sitting here to berate white people or to berate black people or to berate any people, but if we're going to be real about the situation, we have to be all the way real, or else there's no point in even saying anything at all or standing up at all. um, we get generalized a lot. Black people get generalized a lot. People can meet me, and instantly they feel as if they think they know me. They can question my intelligence, question my integrity as a black woman, simply because they feel that they think they know who I am, simply because of the color of my skin, or maybe whatever I was wearing that day. Those are generalizations that are made worldwide, which is why we have tragic phenomena such as instant or automatic bias that often, more often than it should, more often than it ever should, leaves us dead in the streets, and for minute offenses. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. Fact, if you're a police officer and it scares you to see a black person, you're that damn afraid of a black person that you instantly draw your weapon and shoot that man without even considering proper protocol, without even considering a different way around the situation. You're a problem. You're a problem. You have a mental illness, and you should not have a badge or a gun. You should do something different. Maybe work behind a desk. Even at that, you know what? Not even that. Because if a black name on a case file comes in front of your desk, what are you going to do? Are you going to judge the situation or move forward with the correct amount of wisdom, or the correct amount of are you going to be intelligent? Are you going to be unbiased? Are you going to be fact based? Probably not. Probably not. Which is why the pipeline is so heavily flooded. The school to prison pipeline is so heavily flooded with black bodies, with black minds, with black people, because all it is just a way to generate more revenue, more income for what? The machine. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's sad. I feel that as a black mother that has children um, that are black, it makes me afraid in certain senses. It makes me think of other options. Like they keep saying, oh, if you don't love America, why don't you leave the country? Fact. You guys came here as well. You guys are immigrants as well. None of these people who are here were indigenous, except for the Native Americans, as well as, guess who? Black people and people of color that were here, that were actually here before Christopher Columbus discovered America, which we all know that that is a lie. You can't discover something that people already are living on. It was new to y'all. Let's just say that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to be, you know what I'm saying, ignorant, because that's not a part of my character. However, if somebody's showing a mirror to you feels ignorant to you, you should check the image in the mirror and not the person holding it. Understand? Did you catch that? If what I'm saying feels ignorant to you, by me simply holding that mirror to you, look at your own image. Do not persecute or trash people who say Black Lives Matter, because obviously, with all of the deaths and the murders, actually, you can't even call it death. Those are cold-blooded murders. Those are murders. Those are calculated murders. There's no way in the world that you can make me understand or make me feel that it's okay to shoot children just because they're holding a water gun, or just because they're holding a cell phone, or just because they're walking down the street, or just because they, you know what I mean? It's what are we doing? What are we really doing? What are you guys really doing to us? But backing us in a corner. And we all know what happens to Panthers when you back them in a corner. They come out swinging. And that's what you're afraid of. But the thing of it is that there's power in a changed mind. There's power in a changed attitude or thought process. So I feel that as Black people, yes, we should shut it down. Why should we keep feeding the monster? Why should we continue to be drained and be the battery in the back of America to keep pushing it forward if all they're going to do is literally shit on us? Kill us dead in the street and leave our bodies to lay as display pieces with no real respect. Even the way that we get talked to. Like, I've been in certain situations to where people did not understand the level of my intelligence, and I'm not saying it as though I'm just A1 smartest person in the world, but I'm no dummy. I'm no dummy. So when people finally when they get a taste of who I am for real, then it's like, oh. And I've seen this face on white people so much, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? We cannot continue to allow ourselves to be downplayed and downgraded. We have to come up with our own organizations, our own systems, our own ways of pooling money into our own communities. And that's another thing, as far as, like I said, people of color, Black people. If we all came together, and I'm not talking necessarily because I get it. It's far-fetched to really want that kumbaya effect. Although, honest to God, that's something that's in my heart that I really wish we could get and understand. People in other countries, people of color, Black people, how is it possible that with all these different types and forms of Black people that we could ever be considered the minority? There's no way. We're considered the minority because there's this divide and conquer. That's what's going on. That's the game that's being played. Because apparently they're playing chess and we're thinking checkers and crabs in a bucket and all this other shit. If we get real, if we show love, if we support one another, and I mean literally support one another, hold each other up when we're down, if we give correction out of love and understanding instead of just automatically jumping to the negative when it comes to another Black sister or another Black brother, I promise you we could move forward. We could actually have a fighting chance to do what we need to do as a people and to be heard and to be a force to be reckoned with, because that's what we are. That's why so much of what we do is copied. That's why so much of what we do. See, these people, like I said, white people, they have this uncanny ability to congregate, to come together and to make certain things happen. Don't get me wrong, I feel like us as Black people, we have that same ability, but we don't tap into it as often as we should. We don't tap into it as a way of life. I mean, it's if someone gets murdered by the police, then we band together for a while. We march, we protest, we do these things, and then it's back to business as usual until the next murder occurs, which nowadays, these days, is very frequently. So we have to be just as frequent with the way that we carry ourselves as Black people, and the way that we organize, and the way that we everybody just, I feel like if we take the time to actually start to do these things, like shut it down 2016, 9/26, 2016. If we start to actually do things of that nature, they're going to have to pay attention. You know why? Because we can generate billions of dollars in revenue as far as the Black community is concerned. We have so much spending power, so much artistic talent, logical, just intellectual power, and it's being distributed to all these other races. Not saying that we shouldn't support other human beings. That's not what I'm saying. But we gotta love ours first. We have to love ours first. You know, we can't build up the economic systems for everybody else, and we're flailing, and we don't even know why. Well, anyways, I've had a wonderful time talking to you guys today. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate all the support. Um, I mean, there's so much more good information that will come from this channel. I'm not doing this just to be on camera, because I mean, that's not what it's all for. This is a labor of love, because I love every last one of you guys. I am not the type of person, like I said, to say only Black Lives Matter. Black lives matter. Black Lives Matter. Until we get that, and all the people that keep shoving that all lives matter, all lives matter, all lives matter. We've been knowing that all lives matter. We've been knowing that. No, actually, hold on, time out, stop. We've been knowing that all white lives matter forever. We've been knowing that from time. But now it's time to get an understanding, and for the world to know that Black lives matter. We matter, y'all. You guys matter to me, and I hope I matter to y'all. Much love. Again, thanks for sticking around. This was a bit of a longer video than what I usually do, but I felt like these are things that we really need to talk about, issues that we really need to talk about. Hey guys, if you have any topics or anything that you would like to talk about, please leave it in the comment section. I will get it. I will, make sure that I pay attention to you guys, and what you guys say and feel matters to me too. So, oh, also, just to put that out there, this is not a hate video. This is purely a love video. And if you can't see that and you feel the need to comment negative things, I mean, do what you will. You know, I don't have, with negativity and all that stuff is not, it don't affect me. It's not going to change my view. It's not going to change my thought process or my pattern. So, like I said before, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's support one another. Let's support each other. If you guys know of any Black-owned businesses online or in Minnesota that I can patronize and become a customer to, or an aid to, or a support to, music wise, whatever, you know what I mean, let me know. Especially things like children's clothes, stuff, things of that nature. Let me know. I would love to share this information with everyone that could possibly see it. Much love. You guys have a beautiful, wonderful, blessed day. Let's learn to love each other. And once again, kindness is free. Kindness is free, people. Sprinkle that everywhere. Sprinkle it. Just sprinkle it, all the kindness. Here's some happy kindness glitter for y'all. Much love from your girl Q. Peace. We got to do better. We have got to do better.